The division of labor, also known as specialization. Before I jump into the definition, it's worth pointing out that the division of labor is a term we most often associate with Emile Durkheim. He actually wrote a book with this title, and he uses it to talk about a general condition within society as a whole. Whereas Weber, Max Weber, is who we usually associate with the term specialization, and he uses it to talk more about a specific condition or quality of modern bureaucracy. While Durkheim and Weber are applying the concept differently, in my view, the concept is actually the same. And in this video, I'm going to use them interchangeably, but it's worth knowing that two different people have slightly different terms for the same kind of process, and the terms do have different usages within sociology, past and present. To jump to the definition, the division of labor is simply the degree to which jobs are specialized. Now, that's a little bit tautological with what I just said, but to really get a handle on this, just ask yourself this question. Is the work people do within a society essentially the same, or are individual occupations very different from one another? Would it be easy, for example, for me to switch places with another worker, or are our jobs so different that it would be hard for me to be successful in another person's place without a lot of advanced training? All societies have some division of labor. We see this especially between men and women, sometimes between age, caste, class, and whatnot. But we've seen a dramatic increase with industry and industrialization. And in fact, in our world today, the division of labor is really international in scope. People all around the world have different jobs, even when they're working for the same company, doing the same kind of product and work. Let's go to another example here. If we look at a rural agricultural community made up of small family farms, say in a farming village or town up in the mountains somewhere, we're going to see that each household in that farming community is doing essentially the same kind of work. And it would be very easy for me to go over to my neighbor's house and help them with their chores because we're all doing the same kind of work. In a very literal way, people here know each other's business. We refer to this kind of a social condition as a low division of labor. The work everyone does is very similar, and people are sort of interchangeable. Contrast this with a modern, industrialized manufacturing center. Here you have thousands of different, highly specialized tasks that all contribute to the creation of one product. You have artists and engineers, and marketers, business people that design the car, what it's going to look like, how it's going to sell. You have other people that put those ideas together into blueprints and designs, and they test the ideas to make sure they'll work. And other places that actually manufacture the vehicle. And in this place, they may take parts that are made all around the world and put them into one final product. And you can imagine that it would be impossible for an artist here to just step out of his office, walk down, and start welding in the factory to make the car. Just like it would be very difficult for an engineer here to go up and join the business team in marketing. Their tasks are very specialized, and it would be very difficult for them to switch places easily. This is what we refer to as a high division of labor. And while industry and agriculture are good examples to illustrate this, in my opinion, it's a difference in technology that really makes the biggest difference. The higher or the more advanced technology, the greater the division of labor tends to be on average. Now, it's important to remember that, according to Durkheim, the division of labor affects more than just work, productivity, and the economy. It affects these, of course, in very profound ways, but what Durkheim is really interested in is how the social and moral consequences of changes in the division of labor affect people's lives. One of the most important things that he talked about was the concept of social solidarity or social cohesion. And there's a video about these other concepts that can help make this clear. But essentially, this is just the way that people are connected to one another within a society and what it is that keeps them together as members of a society. Durkheim argues that there's two major kinds of social solidarity. One is mechanical, and it's based on sameness. So, again, the small family farms where everyone does the same work and everyone is kind of the same. Or interdependence, this is organic solidarity, where everybody is very, very different, but they work together because they need each other in order to create a successful product. If there's artists but no engineers, you don't come up with a car. You just come up with a picture of a car, like this one. What's most important here is that Durkheim argues, and other scholars as well have looked at this, that changes in the division of labor actually change the nature of society itself, and thus it changes the experience of people living within society, how they view their society, how they view themselves, and how they get along with other people. There's some other videos that will help you explore this further. Types of Society, which looks at pre-modern, modern, and postmodern societies and their differences, and then also the video about modernization. To finish this up, let's look at a little bit of sociological history, or the history of sociology. Sociology itself began as a conservative, and this is not modern politics, conservative scientific reaction to the dramatic changes taking place in Europe around the 1600s. We refer to this time period, or what came right after, as the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, or the Protestant Reformation was also an important part of this. Sociology began as philosophers and thinkers and scientists tried to grapple with the dramatic changes they saw in the society around them. Sociology was the result of this questioning. And one of the answers that many people thought of, Durkheim most prominent among them, is that it's the division of labor that actually made these changes happen. The reason society is changing all around us is because the way people work is changing, and that affects the way people interact with one another, the way they think about one another, and the way society itself functions. This is why division of labor is such a key concept in sociology, because it's the answer to many of the questions that sociologists ask. Things like, why are people poor? Why are people wealthy? Crime, so on and so forth. The division of labor is a key concept in understanding many sociological perspectives and answers to those and other questions. Thanks for watching.